This is Rez. This is Rez. He may not look like it, but he's one of the best and most influential Persian hip-hop artists known to this day, and also someone who has changed the way I look at music in general. And to explain why, we need to go back. Way back. Much like the hip-hop craze of the West in the late 80s and 90s, in the early 2000s, Persian music was undergoing a revolution. Young people were slowly moving from mainstream singers to newly found underground hip-hop groups and rappers. There's quite a lot of debate on who truly started this transition, but as most people agree, it probably was Surush Lashkari, aka Hijaz, often known as the father of Persian rap. Not long after he started, a hip-hop group by the name of Zedbazi also started to gather quite the momentum, with their catchy lyrics and unique beats heavily inspired by Eminem, Fabulous, and Dr. Dre. Although their songs were mostly positive and intended to give people hope, there was also this underlying theme in their songs of rising up to the authority, whether that be the government or one's parents. Their songs encouraged people to break free of the social norms and be themselves. On the other hand, Hijaz painted a heavily dark and grim picture of living in Iran, and with just one listen, you can spot the huge differences between the atmosphere each tried to portray.
بالا شب و لگو بازی صاف و صوف مامان نزاش برسه به گلاسی ولی یه زلان قراره بخوری یک دوتا چین چون دنبالتن یه سری زاخار روی یه جین نفهمیدیم ساب رو کونی یا ساندویچ فروشی لاتی یا تو خونه دست لات زیر دوشی رابطتم میگن واسه مایه تیله توشی میگن اضافه کن موندیم واسه چارچی یکی چون اجباره و دیگه جانیز بعدش مرامه و یکی هم اینجا جاش نین آخری یکم اشکیه برگای پای میخوام برن دست و بالا تک سفت و یک بالا تا عبد مستر باز باحال با هم کرد بودم واسه خودشون داستان ها دارن میخوام برن دست و بالا تک سفت و یک
Hijaz's songs are rough, gritty, dark, and it's not something you can listen to over and over. Unlike Zedbazi, which has a more rich and complicated production, Hijaz's songs heavily relies on him to deliver this message of hate against the dictatorship of Iran. Even though to this day hip-hop and rap are still underground and illegal in Iran, it was clear from day one that Zedbazi had a much bigger following as seen on the charts, and Hijaz was thought to be the more truly quote-unquote underground personality. During this time, other rappers such as Bishro, Bahram, or Yas also came into the scene and continued the same attitude of fighting with the system until late 2012, where something strange happened, and that is when Mozmen, the first studio album by Rez, was released. It's such a shame that the impact Mozmen had on the entirety of Persian rap is not as talked about as the artist I mentioned before. Although not as polished as his later works, Mozmen completely changed the attitude a lot of people had towards underground music. It wasn't dark or coarse, yet it wasn't really energetic either. The production was well done, but it wasn't bombastic. It didn't go after the regime itself, but it pointed out problems within people. Mozmen isn't grand. It doesn't try to portray a high and mighty message. Hell, the speaker feels like he's speaking to himself half the time, but it was the really personal and touching lyrics that connected with people. Although I appreciate it a lot more now, I didn't really gravitate towards it back then, and not even Rez's second work, Rangi. Truth be told, I didn't really understand music a few years ago. I didn't know what I liked, nor what my tastes were. I just listened to whatever sounded cool or other kids were into. It was listening to music for the sake of it, and although I have found artists from that time who I admire now, I mostly didn't enjoy a lot of the things I listened to. My opinion of this quote-unquote underground music was violent songs only the tough and gruff listened to, and that's why I didn't really go near it. Until Shahran.
رسیدن سر جام هنوزم سر پام با سر توی سر سامتن توی قم
Shahrand, the third studio album by Rez, literally translated to Citizen, is one of the best, if not the best album I've heard in my life. Shahrand is about a lot of things. It's about this twisted but loving relationship one has with a place that is hurting them, but they can't abandon the comfort it makes them feel. It's about cherishing all the people who've helped you grow, about coming to terms with losing someone, and all of these themes occur in each song of this 14-track magnum opus. The song Kenaram, meaning by my side, has a very simple beat and it doesn't even have a chorus, where Rez thanks the people who've helped him throughout the years. The way he plays with the language itself and my inexperience makes it really hard for me to translate, but I'll do my best.
روز اول مدرسه امنیتی که تو گرماییه که تو دستشه داد میزنن صف بشه یک حسه تقسیم من و تو توی کلاسیم دیگه نمیترسیم وقتی تو کنارمی پیش بیاد هرچی فوش و مشت و لگد یخ بیار سرچیم میجنگیم و میشناسیم تا یه مرچیم میفهمیم و میسازیم تا یه روز پدرشیم وقتی تو کنارمی حس میکنم کاملم تو حملش میکنیم ولی انگار.
In the song Kashtam, meaning I planted, Rez talks more in depth about the harmful but loving relationship he has with his city and how they're inseparable.
میخوام روش کنم بیشک وقتی تا ته راه عشق ترسو میبینم ریزتر با جرأت تو این شهر محکمتر تو این شهر میخونم تو این شهر میشم رد از این شهر این داستان که آشناست تصویرا تو شیشه است این چرخا مساوی این چرخه همیشه است.
The song Geriye Nakun, meaning don't cry, is more about the pain his stubbornness has caused him.
من وایسادم چمدون ناپرچه قول بده که نمیره تا این روزا رد شه قول دادم که میمونم هر چقدی بد شه پنجای من با پنجای تو میتونه صد شه برای من جایی جز آغوش تو نیست شونه ها و قطره ها و 4 تا دونه چش خیز.
Each track of this album is a piece of Rez he's poured his heart and soul into, and after listening to it for months, I still feel like I discover new things each time I finish listening to it. In a world where most artists throw a bunch of songs into the void and slap a cover art on it for the sake of convenience without actually thinking about the structure of an album or how each song contributes to the overall story, Rez tells one of the most beautiful and coherent albums Persian rap has seen to this day. It's the personal writings of someone who's not after war nor peace and only wants to be understood by those around him. And I feel there's a genuine beauty to that.
میگه که حالا باید بیاد میگه مثلا برم خوندم میگه تو کنارمی مثلا تو صدام دارم یقین مثلا این جملات رو اینجوری میگم یا مثلا جمله ها رو میگم با چیزی تصدیقش میکنم مثل عرقی مثلا اگه میتونم بیشتر هم بشه مفهوم توش عرقی ولی میاد تا مرگ میره خب تا مرگ میگه کنارمی مثلا میگه